The 7 levels of mansions. Two families wake up in their homes on the same morning. One home costs $2 million. The other costs $2 billion. Same word on the listing, mansion. But one is a beautiful house in a good neighborhood, and the other is a 27-story private tower with 600 full-time staff and 3 helipads. And most people genuinely cannot tell where one ends and the next begins, because past a certain point, the word mansion stops meaning anything at all. So today I'm breaking down the 7 levels of mansions, from the entry-level luxury home a successful professional can actually buy, all the way up to the private palaces that cost more than entire companies. This is the breakdown the real estate listings will never give you, because the listings are trying to sell you the dream, not explain it. Let us get into it. Level 1, the entry-level luxury home. This is where mansion territory begins, roughly 3,000 to 5,000 square feet, 4 or 5 bedrooms, on a comfortable lot in a good area. Prices from around $1 to $3 million depending on the city. High ceilings, premium finishes, a 3-car garage, maybe a pool. Here's the part the listing agent will not say out loud. At this level, you are not really buying a mansion. You're buying a very nice house in a market expensive enough to make it cost like one. In Ohio, this is a mansion. In Los Angeles or New York, it is an upper middle class family home with a good zip code. The smart buyer here understands they are paying mostly for location, not for grandeur. This is the dream home for the successful doctor, lawyer, or business owner. And there is nothing wrong with that. It is just the front door, not the building. Level 2, the classic mansion. Now we step up to 5,000 to 10,000 square feet, 6 or more bedrooms, multiple living areas, a formal dining room, a home office, a gym, a real pool with a pool house, prices from $3 to $8 million. This is a mansion by any honest definition, enough space that family members can go a full day without crossing paths, with dedicated rooms for entertaining and guests. Here's the honest take that applies to this entire list from here up. This is the level where the home starts to require real money just to maintain. Landscaping, cleaning, pool service, utilities on a house this size. The upkeep quietly runs into 6 figures a year. The buyers who stay comfortable are the ones whose income easily covers both the mortgage and the upkeep. The ones who stretch to buy the house and then cannot afford to run it properly are the reason so many of these end up back on the market looking neglected. Level 3, the luxury estate. Above 10,000 square feet, the property stops being a house and becomes an estate. Now we are at 10,000 to 20,000 square feet on multiple acres, priced $8 to $25 million. Home theaters, wine cellars, multiple kitchens, staff quarters, tennis courts, gated and landscaped grounds. Here's what nobody tells the first-time estate buyer. At this size, the property requires staff to function. Groundskeepers, housekeepers, often a property manager to run all of it. You're no longer just rich. You are operating a private compound that runs like a small business, with payroll, schedules, and management headaches attached. The house is the easy part. Running it is a part-time job, which is exactly why people at this level hire someone else to do it. The smart owner budgets for the staff before they buy. The unprepared one discovers the cost of running an estate after the keys are already in hand. Level 4, the trophy mansion. This is where homes become famous. 20,000 to 40,000 square feet, priced $25 to $75 million in legendary locations. Beverly Hills, Bel Air, the Hamptons, Palm Beach. Indoor and outdoor pools, private spas, screening rooms, bowling alleys, car galleries displaying a dozen vehicles, architecture by world-famous names, sometimes 15 or more bathrooms, and a full-time staff of 10. Here is the part the magazines leave out. At this level, the house is no longer primarily a place to live. It is a status object and increasingly a financial asset that trades among celebrities, athletes, and industry titans. These homes are bought and sold partly as trophies and partly as stores of wealth. The honest truth is that many of them sit mostly empty, owned by people with 3 or 4 other homes. The house is famous, it is also often lonely. Level 5, the mega mansion. Now we cross into 9 figures, 40,000 to 70,000 square feet, priced $75 to $200 million. The home becomes a destination unto itself. Multiple swimming pools, a private nightclub, a full wellness center with massage rooms and a salon, a champagne vault, grounds spanning many acres, sometimes a private helipad. The famous spec mansions of Bel Air and the great estates of the French Riviera live here. Staff can exceed 20 full-time employees. Here is the reality behind the spectacle. At this level, the home is built as much to be photographed and talked about as to be lived in. The developers who build spec mega mansions are gambling that a billionaire will pay 9 figures for the bragging rights. And several famous ones have sat unsold for years because the buyer pool at $200 million is at any given moment almost no one. The owner here is a billionaire making a statement. The question is whether anyone is actually home to hear it. Level 6, the compound. Above 70,000 square feet, the single house gives way to a compound. Multiple structures across a vast private land holding. Prices climb from $200 to $500 million. A main residence, multiple guest houses, staff villages, private golf holes, security perimeters, sometimes private farms or vineyards. The most expensive American home ever publicly listed. A Bel Air mega compound was priced at around $500 million with a 100,000 square foot main house, multiple pools, and a private nightclub. Here's the part that defines this level. This is no longer real estate in any normal sense. It is private infrastructure. Its own water, power, security, and staff village, functioning like a small, self-contained town with one family at the center. The honest take, properties at this price almost never sell for anywhere near their asking number. They exist partly as ego monuments by their developers, and the gap between the list price and reality is one of the great open secrets of luxury real estate. Level 7, the royal residence. At the very top sit the homes that were never really for sale at all, the palaces of kings, sultans, and the richest dynasties alive. Buckingham Palace with its 775 rooms, the Astana Nurul Iman, official residence of the Sultan of Brunei and the largest private residence in the world, at around 2 million square feet with 1,788 rooms, 257 bathrooms, a garage for 110 cars, and a banquet hall seating 5,000. And Antilia, Mukesh Ambani's home in Mumbai, a 27-story private tower built for an estimated $2 billion, requiring around 600 full-time staff to run, with 3 helipads, a 50-seat cinema, a snow room to escape the Mumbai heat, and enough structural engineering to survive a magnitude 8 earthquake. Here's what truly separates level 7 from everything below it. At this level, the home is not a house, not an estate, not even a compound. It is a piece of national heritage and a private city, staffed by hundreds, often valued in the billions, and effectively impossible to buy because the people who own them do not sell. These are the most extreme private residences humanity has ever built. So here's the honest verdict. Level 1 is a great house wearing a mansion's price tag. Buy it for the location and do not pretend it is more than it is. Level 2 is a true mansion, and the smart move is making sure you can afford to run it, not just buy it. From level 3 upward, every level adds staff, management, and upkeep that quietly costs as much as a second mortgage. The house is never the real expense. The operation behind it is. Levels 5 and 6 are as much ego monuments and financial assets as homes, and most of them sit half empty and rarely sell for their asking price. And level 7 is no longer real estate at all. It is a private kingdom. The biggest mistake people make with a mansion is not buying the wrong one. It is buying a home so large they spend their lives managing it instead of living in it. The happiest wealthy people I have seen buy one level below what they can afford and actually use every room. If this was useful, subscribe. I break things down the way they actually work, not the way the listing describes them.